British political theory, there's a phrase which is called disjointed incrementalism, which basically talks about policy doesn't have any strategy, and you move from one short-term problem to another short-term problem without having an end goal. Would that be a fair critique of the iGaming situation in the States?
Well, I think the iGaming situation is evolving in the States, and it's an absolutely new area of which there is a fairly high degree of unfamiliarity with that area. And so I think we're in the process of learning. I don't know that there's really any strategic plan. I don't know that there's any disjointedness to that strategic plan. I think we're just basically looking to learn more about it and exploring that.
Do you think coming to events like this is an important part of that exploration from your perspective? And also, obviously, having Giggsy in San Francisco.
I don't think one can even pretend to be involved in the gaming area and to be in any way involved and not participate in these activities. I think this is where you find out what's going on in the world. And we all live in our little domains, and we all live in our little areas, and we think that's the world.
Yeah.
This is the world, and this shows a great variety of all the different applications across a number of different dimensions in gambling. No, this is what it's about. These shows are critical.
From my perspective, just watching what goes on at events like this, you tend to get the feeling that almost the main event is actually the sideshow, and the main issues are actually discussed in these kind of corridors of power outside of the speeches and presentations.
Well, it's like going to college almost. You know, do you learn more in the classroom or outside the classroom? And both of those environments are critically important in helping a person develop. And I think both pieces are very important. You know, I think the networking, the sitting over coffee, the running into people that you haven't seen in 6 or 7 years, that's very valuable. But I think the formal instruction and the formal conferences are of great value.
But as federal, states, and governments chase budget deficits, do you think that is an accelerator for the regulation and taxation of iGaming?
Absolutely, and that's not only an iGaming phenomenon, that's a gaming phenomenon. And when you look at the reasons that, say, in the United States, Atlantic City accepted gambling in that was absolutely driven as a tool of economic development. And you see that time and time again. Mississippi, the exact same causes. And I think that's true across the world. You know, one of the main motivators to introduce gambling is economic development. The other one, obviously, is to eliminate the illegal activity and to make it to operate in a controlled and regulated environment.
When you look at the United States, any observer would look at technology-driven at the front end, at the frontier of virtually everything, of subcultures, of music, of film, of everything. Why are you so slow on iGaming?
You know, I think first of all, we have a very substantial brick and mortar industry in that town, and in that country, and as a result of that, there may be a bit of hesitancy to, you know, adopt these new delivery methods, and so I think that's material. And these people have positioned themselves within the political fabric. They have lobbyists, they make contributions to politicians and stuff like that. So their arguments are heard, and I think that it's just been slow adapting, you know. I think there's a bit of protectionism, you know.
Protectionism, I mean, obviously with the power of and the status of the brands in, say, for example, in Las Vegas, I mean, they've got the potential to really embrace iGaming and to make significant profits out of it.
Well, I think that, and it's a mixed bag. I mean, if you look at a lot of different sectors, some are for and some are against. This is part of the debate, part of the very robust debate, I think, that needs to take place before we can determine where we're headed on these things. And people are just now acquiring information and insight.
Could you just give us an update on where we're at with iGaming in California?
Well, there's been a bill introduced by Senator Wright. It's a repeat of a bill that's existed in previous sessions, and I think it's going to be robustly debated, and I think we're going to acquire great information. The people that have been working on that bill have been very open to listening to a great diversity of opinion, and I think that process is going to continue. One only knows where that's going to head, but I think the debate continues, and I think there's value to that.
What kind of timescales are we looking at?
Well, I absolutely guarantee you there will be iGaming in California at some point in time. Now, that may be 30 years or that may be this year. I'm not very good at predicting the timeline.
So if we turn our attention to Giggsy in April, fantastic event, really gets a wide range of plaudits. The creative theme for the Gigsy proposition is flip the switch. Do you think that's an appropriate phrasing?
I think that's a great little branding technique, and I think that'll be a great tagline, and that'll be great fun. I don't think it's going to cause any of the legislatures to flip the switch. I think they're going to listen to the robust debate. They're going to, poll their constituencies, and they're going to see what's best for the state.
Can you give us a little preview, a kind of vignette of what you'll be saying in your presentation?
Well, I think that one of the obligations, now that the federal bill, while not dead, certainly is on life support, a lot of people are looking that they're going to need to approach the United States on a state-by-state basis. And if I can provide any insight to what that slog may look like, I think I can be of value.
Do you think that the California experience will be the kind of standard bearer for other states?
Well, I think that California has a decision. With its 37.7 million people, if they were to launch an internet gaming environment there in poker, it would be the most spectacular environment in the world. Now, whether we want to be an early adopter into that process or whether we want to be a late adopter in that process, that's pretty much up to the legislature and the governor. I'm a regulator.
So finally, just a message about the power of Gigsy and the importance of being there.
I think that you have so much knowledge and so much human knowledge and so many things to look at concentrated in a small space. You've got to be there.
What do you think of the fact that the biggest gaming show in the world is on this side of the Atlantic and not on the other side?
I think that makes total sense.